Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tori if you're new, and as you would have seen by the title of this video, this is my mid-year flip through for my reading journal. So I have January through June. We're going to go through all of my more annual spreads that I update throughout the entire year. We have all of my stickers on my journal, which I love so much. This year I really love my Ice Planet Barbarian sticker, my Romantasy Book Club sticker. When I die, delete my Kindle history. If you're a true friend, hello Farah darling. And then on the back, ooh, sorry that she's a little hairy, I guess. Don't Bother Me, I'm reading smut, absolutely, and Full Metal Alchemist. This will be very lo-fi music, pretty slow paced, just flip through. And then when I have maybe some explanation or something that I want to say on a certain page, I will pop back in. I'm already back. These are my bookshelves of 2023. I like to color them in by genre to see what genres I'm leaning most heavily towards during certain times of the year or throughout an entire year. I have been reading so much fantasy this year and so much romance, but the one thing that I'll say about my color palette that I chose for this year is I wish that I had differentiated it a little bit more. I just used a bunch of pinks and then browns and kind of a mix between a reddy brown. And I don't love that you can't tell too much of a difference, you know what I mean? But this kind of the pinkiest pink that I have, I guess, is the best way to describe it. That is going to be my fantasy, and then my brown is romance. So obviously a lot of fantasy, a lot of romance. I have been reading a lot of romantasy, but if it leans more romance than fantasy, I categorize it as a romance book. My reading log is just where I put in the name of the book, the date that I finished it, and my actual star rating. I gave myself plenty of room this year because I always end up running out of room. So I probably have too much room on my bookshelves and my book log, but it's better to have more room than running out of room. I do need to update my 5-star reads of 2023. I've had more than this. I think there's maybe 4 or 5 missing. I haven't updated the spread in a little while because my printer has been giving me such a hard time with my ink. So far this year, as of I think today's June 12th, I've read 60 books so far. Let me know how you're doing with your reading goals in the comments down below. I'd love to hear about it. This is my series tracker page. I have actually loved having a series tracker page because it's so satisfying when you get to cross off another book from a series. So I'm definitely reading more series in this. I need to add to this page. I actually need to paste in a page in between here and decorate it because I didn't leave myself enough room on this page. But the series that I've really been loving so far this year, I've been reading through the Witcher series, which has been fantastic. Magnolia Parks, I have The Long Way Home on my Kindle and I need to get to it. I ended up DNFing the Bone Witch trilogy. I might return to it. It was kind of a soft DNF because I just wasn't super into the Heartforger when I started reading it. I definitely DNF'd Adrian and Isolde, the Scarlet St. Clair King of Battle and Blood series because Queen of Myth and Monsters was not for me. War of Lost Hearts by Carissa Broadbent, I've been enjoying so much. Mercenaries and Magic, which is a Kindle Unlimited, very smutty romantasy series I've been loving. I just have one more to read. And then obviously the Throne of Glass books, which have been incredible. This year, I made a whole section for rereads of 2023 in my bullet journal, and so far I've only reread Court of Mist and Fury because, hello, obviously, but I wanted to track the rating that I gave it when I either first read it or the last time that I read it, my new rating, and then do some updated thoughts for the book. I just haven't been as focused, I guess, on rereading books so far this year besides Akamath because I've been so focused on reading a bunch of new books that have been absolutely incredible. But I do have a couple of rereads that I'm hoping to get to before the end of this year. I only gave myself space to do 8 rereads. I don't know that I'll do 8, but 4 on each page. And I actually really like this section. I need to use this more now that I'm flipping through this. Okay, no judgment for these next 2 pages. These next 2 spreads were for the Romanceopoly TBR game. I had every intention of doing this year and sticking to it and being on point, but I only did it in January. And I think I did 4 prompts in January, so my plan was to color in each of the prompts and then paste in the covers of the books underneath each of the prompts as I went. But, you know, we come up with these TBR games, and then if our TBRs end up putting us in a bad mental space with our reading, what is the point of forcing ourselves to do the TBR game? You know what I mean? And then this is the page for my DNFs. I actually tend to DNF quite frequently. If I'm not in the mood to read a book, I will just drop it because it's not worth it to me. But there's some books that are soft DNFs. So like Shadowless, I DNF'd in February, but I have a try again section. I definitely want to get back to Shadowless and try it again at a different time. And same thing with Jade City. I got about 60% through Jade City and I do want to return to it. And now we're getting into my monthly spreads. I do make monthly setup videos, so if you wanted to see more about how I created any of these monthly spreads, feel free to go check those out. They're all on my channel, and I have an entire playlist of reading journal setup videos. I like to section out my bullet journal, so we just flipped through June. I have this whole section saved for doing my monthly spreads through December, but then the next section of my bullet journal is for my readathon specific spreads. So this first spread is for the 12 books from 12 friends challenge. I've read a couple of these so far. I've read Legendborn, Poppy War, Promise of Fire. I did DNF, unfortunately, A Kingdom of Stars and Shadows, but I do want to refocus on this list. I think Warbreaker is going to be the next one that I read off of this list. Then my 23 books for 2023, I always love doing this reading challenge. For my 23 books for 2023, all of these are 5-star predictions for me. So I have read a couple of these. Legendborn was also on this list. Sea of Ruin, which was absolutely 5 stars. Jade City is on here as well. I need to return to that one like I mentioned. She Who Became the Sun, I read it, but I didn't give it a rating. It just sat a little bit weird with me. Cleopatra and Frankenstein was also a 5-star read for me, but Sirens and Muses was only a 3-star. Flower Heart was a 5-star. Flames of Chaos, I DNF'd at 55%. Broken Bonds was 3 stars. Poppy War was 5. I do have a couple of these books sitting on my shelves that I just need to pick up and get to, like Seven Faceless Saints, Wicked Saints, Shadow of Gods. I need to return to Shadowless because this was a soft DNF for me, so I'm slowly but surely making my way through this list. Then this was a reading challenge that I did. I wanted to read 125 pages every day for a week, and so this was kind of tracking my reading. This was my own personal challenge that I did. And I like making spreads for them because it just feels, I don't know, that much more fun to update your spread as you go. This was for the Romantasy-a-thon, which we did February 12th through the 18th. It's a readathon that I host in February. I was on Team Dark Romance readers. Then the Asian readathon, which took place all of May, which was super fun, and I finally got to use some of my favorite Studio Ghibli stickers. It was actually a 24-hour readathon that I did. I wanted to do 48 hours and I made the spread, and then it turned out being only 24 hours, but I finished 3 books during that time. And then this is the spread that I'm currently working on for Once Upon a Readathon, which is still ongoing because it takes place all of June. So I just have some spaces where I'm tracking my books and what prompts they fit. So water setting, BIPOC author, LGBTQ+, and then I have a little section where I've been notating what books I'm reading and the ratings I've been giving them and just some notes about each book. And that's it for the readathon section. My notes section is kind of a catch-all for spreads that don't fit into any of the other categories. So I have a spread for video ideas. This was a section I also made if I wanted to do a specific spread for a book that didn't fit into any of the other sections. Like each month I have a section for my favorite book that I read that month. If a book doesn't fit into that section but I still want to make a spread for it, I've been sticking them back here, and I need to do some additional spreads for some additional books. This was just an affirmations page that I wanted to do when I was feeling a little bit negative and just try to change my mindset. This is another kind of TBR list. So this is for girl versus void books, kind of sad girl lit books. I love reading lit fic, and so this is just an ongoing list of lit fic books that I want to get to. And this spread was for the Once Upon a Readathon. I was trying to plan through some recommendations for the recommendation video that I did. So I listed a bunch of books that have pirates in them, and then water setting books that would also get you some extra points as well. This spread was for the Greenbone Saga. It was just some notes about the structure in the book because these books are focused on mafia and gangs, and each gang has their own setup or structure of people. And so I found this, I did not make this myself. I found a graphic for this and copied it into my bullet journal. And then I wrote some quotes from the book as well. And this spread is for the War of Lost Hearts. It's kind of just a breakdown of the world because I found I was getting a little bit lost in the sauce when I read book 2 in this series and I needed a refresher. And so I was just taking notes on the different types of wielders in this book, the different fae houses. The second book in the series has a lot more world building than the first. And so I just needed a place to kind of collect my thoughts. Not gonna lie, flipping through this note section, I've realized that I saved myself a lot of room in this section and I need to take more notes. So this video is a good reminder of that. And then the last thing that I have is just a sticker in the very back from Priory of the Orange Tree, which is one of my favorite books, that says, "We may be small and we may be young, but we will shake the world for our beliefs." And that is it, my friends. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. I'll catch you in the comments and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!